is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
I'm not okay with that.
It sounded good when I thought.
Log on and join our live conversation.
Yes, I don't like
right.
that.
You're 100% right.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It is Tuesday, May 28th. We are live, and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. I'm here with Stephanie, Tori, Brandon, and I am Sam. Let's get started. Deadly tornadoes ravaged Ohio late last night. At least one person is dead in Salina, Ohio, after a rapid-fire line of apparent tornadoes tore across the area. Homes were ripped in two or completely obliterated. Here's how one survivor described it.
I was texting my wife at the time, and I thought I was going to die. It felt like somebody just picked my house up and set it back down. When it was over, I couldn't believe what I saw. There's trees everywhere, there's power lines down everywhere. Somebody's roof's in my yard.
Authorities are still surveying the damage in Dayton, Ohio, where homes and entire apartment complexes were leveled. The twister injured 3 people and left thousands without power, but so far no deaths have been reported. Here's what the Dayton's mayor is saying.
Last night, Dayton was hit by a series of devastating tornadoes. We do not yet know the full extent of the damage, as crews are still working to reach affected areas. But we do know that the damage was significant and that many citizens and folks are still without basic services.
I was just talking to Brandon how those photos look apocalyptic.
Absolutely. I mean, we just have to put our thoughts and prayers out there. There's really nothing we can do. I mean, this is Mother Nature we're talking about. So anyone who's going through it, please endure it. Please be safe. Check on your neighbors. But from here at DBL, all we can really do is report on it and pray for you.
Yeah, and definitely you mentioned check on your neighbors, your elderly neighbors with disabilities. And if you, DBL Nation, if you're living in that area, please write us. Let us know how you are and share your experience. A hiker who was lost for 17 days in the jungle in Hawaii is speaking out. 35-year-old Amanda Eller was badly injured with a fractured leg, burns, and a skin infection. Police stopped their official search for her after 3 days. So her family, along with a private rescue team, began their own search. On Friday, rescuers were on their last 10 minutes of fuel when they spotted her. Eller, a physical therapist and yoga instructor, went on a 3-mile hike by herself without her phone when she got lost, surviving on berries and guava and creek water to drink. Eller was discovered by walking in a ravine by rescuers, and yesterday she was reunited with the men who rescued her.
So blessed for every breath that I take. It's just the community is showing up with so much freaking heart and so much passion, and these guys were not going to give up on me. Thank God.
Wow. And another hiker is missing in Maui right now. Authorities have been searching for 35-year-old Noah Mina for 7 days now. I hope that Noah gets the same outcome as this courageous young woman.
I mean, she survived in a wild boar's den. I mean, there's some of the stories are incredible, but they organized a technological way of putting their smartphones to the home center. They made a yurt and they connected it via technology, and they're hoping to use that technology to spread out for other hikers because it got instantaneously results, instantaneous. So hopefully this is a silver lining in an otherwise very scary ordeal.
Yeah, very.
I think this is a sign if you do go out hiking, make sure you tell people where you're going, roughly the area. If you can take one of those extra charges for your phone in your back pocket, I know it's an extra few pounds, but
take
do it.
your phone too. She did not take her phone.
Even though it's 3-mile hike, please, she didn't take water.
Right.
Make sure you take water and a phone no matter what.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, have you ever worked yourself so hard you felt burnt out? I think we can all relate to that. Well, now it turns out burnout is an official medical diagnosis. The World Health Organization just added it to the International Classification of Diseases, and they describe the symptoms as follows: having feelings of low energy or exhaustion, increased mental distance from your job, or feelings of negativity or cynicism about your job, and finally, reduced productivity. Stephanie, what do you make of this?
I think this is definitely a real thing, and I think you see it all over the globe. In London, we get a lot more holiday days than you guys do in America, and sickness and mental health days are treated as a completely different thing. In America, if you take a day off sick, that comes off your holiday days, and I don't think that's acceptable. I think that's something something that the US really needs to look at, because this is a very serious thing. And it's not just, you know, if you're having a bit of a bad day at work, this is where you feel exhausted. You take any form of advice as criticism because you're so on edge. And one of my best friends suffered from this, and she had to have a month off work. And you can see it. She was like a different person. I think it's when pushing yourself and trying to do the best all the time. It's not physically possible.
And I think it's important, Brandon, that she noted that it's more than just stress, right?
Absolutely.
So it isn't just synonymous with stress, as if you look at the details of the disease, so to speak, because it's not in the DSM, but it is categorized as a disease, that it is chronic stress from mismanaging it in your workplace.
Which is why lifestyle is so important.
Balance.
It's balance. It's easy for me to say, hey, I can get over this. I can have a hard day at work, go home, I can go party, I can go hang out. I'm single. I don't have kids. What I'm worried about is the mothers. What I'm worried about is people who are caretakers, who wake up early, got to get kids ready, got to get them, got to make sure their bags are packed, lunch is packed, and then when they get home, got to look at homework, got to do those
You
sort of
don't
things.
ever have a moment.
You don't ever have a moment.
And I hear that. I'm just really worried about this being diagnosed as a medical condition, because I fear that people will misuse this. And the OSHA that deals with problems when you get hurt at work, workers' comp, how many people are going to say, I'm burnt out and therefore get disability? And that's my concern.
I think there's always going to be a small percentage that it's going to abuse any sort of system out there, unfortunately. But you never want that small percentage to somehow trump what real people are dealing with. Because, you know, we all said the same thing about depression and anxiety not 10 years ago, but 30, 40, 50 years ago. So I think it's really important to look at this, like your friend suffered from it, as a serious condition, and also see that it's no coincidence that it's probably happening more frequently, as Stephanie said, in America 100%. Than as opposed to other countries. So I say this is a right step in the right direction. All right, this next story, you guys, everybody listen up. Do you believe in UFOs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. Navy pilots recorded videos like this showing encounters with unidentified flying objects off the Florida coast in 2015. And now U.S. Navy pilots are talking about these videos with the New York Times. And this is not just a one-off encounter, by the way. They reported seeing UFOs almost daily from the summer of 2014 all the way through to March of 2015. One Super Hornet pilot even reported a near collision with one of the objects, and the objects are even catching the Navy's attention, which sent out new classified guidance earlier this year on how pilots should report these encounters. That's according to the New York Times. So this has many of you asking, do you believe in UFOs and aliens? Go to dblvote.com, weigh in. Stephanie, what do you make of this?
Okay, I'm not just saying this, but I really believe that I had a UFO experience like about 10 years ago. I was with my best friend, my sister, my mum. We were coming home from the mall. We were on the highway. I'm using such American terminology right now. Anyway, we were coming home on the highway, and it was standstill traffic. No one was moving. And we were like, what's going on? We looked up, and there was this crazy, I'll call it a light in the sky, and it was like literally flying so fast and out of control. At that moment, everyone's getting out of their car, they're trying to take pictures, everyone's phone, it all went dead.
Are you kidding me?
I am not, I swear on my life.
No, I
swear
believe
on my
you.
life.
I do.
So all of our phones went dead. My mum was crying, she was so afraid. And then after about, I don't know, maybe 60 seconds, 2 minutes, it was just gone again. And then everyone started driving and left. And the radio the next day, people were ringing like, who saw that light? What was it? Our Navy or our Air Force said they didn't know what it was, but yeah, that definitely happened.
Oh, and I believe you, but I think what's so cool about this story is the stigma is being removed, right? You have now protocol with the Navy, the U.S. Navy, and how they communicate to the Pentagon and the Department of Defense through pilots and what they spot. That was never a thing before. There was denial before, denial. Now we're seeing a slow trickle-down effect, almost dropping knowledge to the citizens that this is a thing. And also the pilots, I thought was really interesting, Brandon, is the pilot said, listen, they know flights.
Right.
They know how an object in the air moves, and they said this object moved, just like Stephanie said, in ways that they couldn't describe. So
out of the realm of normal physics is what I read, and which is unreal. But I think this is why we're having Donald Trump or President Trump created the Space Force. The more you see we're doing more with space exploration, you're seeing these documented UFOs, and I'm glad they're trying to destigmatize it with it has to be extraterrestrial or something like that. Whatever it is, it could be someone spying or whatever.
Let's learn.
We need to learn about it and figure it out.
I agree. Yeah, one of the pilots said that what they saw was there was no visible engines or infrared exhaust plumes, and it moved at hypersonic speed.
They also said it was up there for 12 hours,
which is
it's
rare.
11 hours too long.
Absolutely.
Wow, 11 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Stephanie, phone home.
Okay.
Stephanie.
Let's see what our DBL Nation has to say. 80% yes, beam me up. So there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't beam me up. I'm okay.
I actually said that. I was like, show me. I want to see you. I want to meet you.
I can see you doing that.
DBL's Live will bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. Coming up, we go one-on-one with Richard Pryor Jr., son of the legendary comedian. Find out what life was like growing up with a famous father and how he reacted when he told him he was gay. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. Facial recognition software is the wave of the future, but is it an invasion of privacy or something we need to keep us safe? Your comments coming up next.
Hi there, DBL Nation. Happy Tuesday. It's not Monday. Ah! We're happy you're here with us on this Tuesday morning. How was everyone's weekend? Please let us know. Let's go to the desk and chat with Steph a little more about her UFO experience.
The 1 second.
Steph.
Can we get rid of?
Come over here and talk to me about this.
Talk to someone in the booth just to make
Hi, you think you saw a UFO?
I don't know what it was. I've never
think it
seen
was.
anything like it. I couldn't see. It was so quick, but I wasn't the only. There was honestly hundreds of people that saw it in one area.
Oh my God,
It was
that's
on the
so
highway.
scary. I wish I was there.
All the cars went stop still, and everyone's phones went dead. Because my mum was like, "Bring your dad, bring your dad." She was so afraid,
Oh my
and all the phones went dead. It was really weird.
DBL Nation, you have to write us in. Let us know if you've ever seen a UFO or an alien. Tori, any stories from you? I'm surprised you haven't seen an alien.
I haven't, but the thing about the phone flips me out.
Yes.
It was really
That's what
weird.
I don't like, that that a lot of you lost your
All
phone.
of us. All at the
There
same
was
time.
me, my best friend, my mum, and my sister.
So there was some kind of electrical output that
Yes.
signaled it
Yeah.
out. And then I'm always like, it's a drone. Is it?
I was trying to. This was years ago. This was
Before.
maybe there were drones in like the army or something, but not regular people having drones. And it was really high. It was like, it was really, really, really
And so
high
fast,
up.
you said.
It was so.
And they reverse quickly. That's the other thing. They reverse. See, I don't like that.
I
I mean, I don't mind that. Just tell me. Just talk to me.
Yeah, I like how you were like, tell me.
So I got out of the car and my mum was screaming.
She's so
Honestly,
scared.
my mum was screaming at me. She was so afraid. And I was like, take me with you. I will meet you. I'm ready.
That's such a Stephanie thing to
I was
do.
like, show me your face. And my
That's
mum was
so
like,
crazy.
get in the car.
It is like Independence Day a little bit.
Yeah, it really is. DBL Nation,
It wasn't
let us know.
scary. It was just like mind blowing.
But your mom was scared.
Well, yeah. I was just like, oh my gosh.
You
I've
thought it was so
never
Do you
cool.
think if they are real, that they're coming in peace?
Who knows?
I don't
But
know.
let's be real.
And I do think they're real.
Let's
for sure.
be real. We don't even know some of the species that we have in our oceans and in our jungles. We haven't discovered them all yet. So do we really think that we're the only life form in our whole entire universe?
No, we don't.
Really?
Yeah, there's no way. And Star
DBL
Trek
Nation, let us know if
probably
you
right.
had any experiences. Bye.
Welcome back to DBL. It is time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. San Francisco is now the first major city to ban its government and police force from using facial recognition technology. Supporters of the ban say it protects privacy, but opponents say facial recognition can help catch criminals. We should point out the ban does not apply to airports or private companies, so DBL Nation, should facial recognition technology be banned or just regulated? Let's get right to your comments.
All right, here we go. Larry from Facebook says, ban this across America. Invasion of privacy. Well, Larry, if you feel that way, there's a lot of inner city. There's a lot of projects in Newark, New Jersey, and all throughout New York City that are low-income, high-crime areas, and they have these set up everywhere. I don't feel like I'm in a non-safe environment when I'm there. I feel non-safe when I'm around country concerts. I'm in Vegas somewhere, wherever these shootings have been. So if you're going to have it in these areas, let's make sure we have it in these affluent areas as well.
Interesting. Candy
That's
says,
a great point.
Why ban facial recognition? Are you going to ban fingerprints too? Voice recognition, body cameras? Isn't technology supposed to help our police and catch criminals? And I think this is so fair. We don't want the Minority Report, right, where we're doing pre-crime. But at this point, if it's in a public place, you don't have any any reasonable expectation of privacy. None. There's cameras you don't even know about. There's air marshals you don't know about. You have zero right to privacy. Please keep them. In my opinion, this has nothing to do with our privacy.
And this comment is from Brenda. She says the government spies on us regardless. They don't even need the facial recognition. Don't be fooled by this ban. It's kind of like what Tori was just saying. We are constantly monitored all the time.
Especially in England.
Especially in England. Yeah, we have cameras on every single street corner, every single street light. It's a very normal thing. Do I feel safe? Yes. I've got nothing to hide. I've done nothing wrong. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Brandon's point until now. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm all for this. If it's going to catch somebody that abducts my daughter, I'm all for this. If it's somebody that blows up a concert, but I don't want to see it unfairly used in areas.
Absolutely.
I hope that they use it in a way that's going to be mindful and equal to everyone out there, because I'm afraid that.
Absolutely. When are you going to go into the hoods in New York City? But we're going to go into a mall. We're going to go into a movie theater.
I would like to see them in malls, movie theaters.
That point you just made, Sam, I think is really important. You said if Sophie was abducted, what if they could find her face in a crowd, getting put, in a shopping mall, getting put in a car?
Or the tip of the nose of the guy that took her. They have that in England.
Oh, I don't. That's the only reason why I'm all for it. Literally.
Could say.
Yeah, but I just hope they use it fairly, as Brandon stated. Coming up on DBL, our own Tori Shulman sits down with Richard Pryor Jr., the iconic comedian's son, opens up about coming out to his father when we come back.
Nation, happy Tuesday. Are you suffering a case of the Tuesdays like I am today?
Yes.
Maybe, maybe not. Kelly is. Kelly has her blanket, she has her fur jacket.
It's cold in here.
For some reason, she's the only one that gets cold in here. Well,
I get cold.
Mike gets cold, but it's okay. Mike, you deserve to get cold. So let's go to this fifth host. We were just talking about it. Public facial recognition. Should that be in public places? San Francisco is going to ban it. Maybe if it's just downtown San Francisco they're talking about. I don't know about the outlying areas of San Francisco. But do you think it should be banned? And a lot of you are writing in, it's an invasion of privacy. Well, let me ask you guys this question, because like I said just now, all throughout New York City in low-income housing projects, Newark, New Jersey, Camden, New Jersey, these cameras and these facial recognition programs are put up to, I guess, police the neighborhood, to monitor the neighborhood. So I don't see why we can have it there, but we can't have it in downtown San Francisco. If you think about that, I'm more worried when I'm around public places like that than I am, because I'm never in a hood or a low-income area. But keep writing in so we can talk about it next show. We've got Tori coming up at the wall right now.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Growing up with a celebrity parent can be a blessing and a curse, but sharing the same name as your famous parent, well, that's another thing entirely. It's a burden Richard Pryor Jr. knows all too well, and details in his new book, In a Pryor Life. I sat down with the author who told me what it was like growing up with Richard Pryor as a dad in today's DBL Spotlight. Thank you, Richard, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's hard to talk to you about your father without mentioning with complete respect, but when you share the same name, it's not always the easiest thing. So were you like your dad? Were you similar? Are your personalities the same?
I think almost in every aspect. I think the trials and tribulations we went through in life were the same. The addictions were the same. Our mannerisms and everything the same. I even walk like my father.
Yeah.
My father wasn't like what people saw on stage.
Right.
You know, my father was quiet, he was an introvert, kind of shy when he wasn't performing in front of people on stage. When I was born, my name was Rodney Clay Pryor.
Right.
And my father went up to the hospital while I was still in the hospital and changed my name to Richard Pryor Jr. Years later, when I was a teenager, when he became famous, he told me, if I would have known I would have been famous, I never would have changed your name.
Your dad is, to this day, still one of my favorite comedians. Were you allowed to listen to your dad's material, considering he was a bit controversial in the best possible way, but you were, young at the time?
Of course not. The things I heard wasn't anything different than what I heard, in the house. Because I was in a house of, bootleggers and prostitutes and pimps, so everyone talked like that.
That's hilarious. Now, do you have a favorite Richard Pryor movie?
My favorite film that my father did was Which Way Is Up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
really
love
that. I love the fact that he was able to incorporate people out of his life as far as characters in the film and play 3 characters.
You tried stand-up comedy like your dad, but then in your early 20s you gave it up and you enlisted in the Navy.
I was dealing with issues with my sexuality at the time, and I think me going into the military was trying to be a man to prove I was a man.
When did you actually come out to your dad, and how did he, when you actually did come out, how did he take it?
I was in the military.
Yes.
And I was going to get married.
Yes.
My dad took me to dinner, and I ended up, because he came in for the wedding and stuff, and I said, I don't think I can do this and everything. So he was like, you don't have to do this. Probably less than a year after that is when I finally called him on the phone and told him that I was gay, which was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But his reaction was totally not what I expected.
Yeah, you said he was actually like, okay.
Actually okay and everything, and whatever you do in life, be the best at it in life.
You were a drag queen at one point. Are you still performing drag? Did your father ever know? Tell me about that part of your life.
No, I don't still perform drag. I did back when I was in the military. That's when I first started. My father found out because I had to tell him, because at one point in my life, I had a best friend who was actually jealous of what I was doing because they were doing it as well.
Oh, wow.
And they called the tabloids. Wow. So I was outed to the world.
I want to ask you particularly about addiction, because we talked about your father's struggle with addiction. We all know about that. It's something a lot of our DBL Nation goes through. And talk to me about your own addiction and how it mirrored that.
I think it was like a week before my high school graduation. Talking to him on the phone, and you could tell he was out of it.
Yeah.
And I remember when he actually came to my graduation, I don't know if it would be like you would consider a manic episode, but someone's like really wired up and all this stuff for my graduation. And then a week later was his burn accident when he tried to take his life. And just seeing him in that downward spiral was a very difficult thing. And so difficult, I remember I used to speak out against it. Oh my God, I would never touch a drug, I would never do this, and I found myself doing the exact same things. And I think a lot of it deals with when you're not comfortable with who you are as a person, when you're trying to fit in and to be liked by everyone. And I think a lot of things that we do in life, it's surrounding yourself with the right types of people. Because I had to separate myself from all of it.
The whole lifestyle.
Whole lifestyle,
that's what people
everything.
say.
So that was the process when things started to change.
For someone who is not only of someone famous, but to be African American, out, and was a drag queen, you are a pioneer, and you paved the way for people to be comfortable with it now. So you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you so much.
Very proud of yourself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Richard Pryor Jr.'s book, In a Pryor Life, goes into even more detail about his dad's and his own personal life. You can find it on bookstore shelves now. We'll be right back.
Promo.
Hi DBL Nation, welcome back to Double Jump. I'm here with DBL co-host Stephanie Jones, and
hey guys,
we saw Aladdin together last night.
Yep.
And I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. I really like this adaptation of it. What do you think about it?
Okay, I loved the storyline was very similar to the original. There was a few little twists and changes, a few added extra songs that were not in the original piece.
Very true.
But overall, I enjoyed it. Did I love it? And would I really rate it? Probably not. But is it worth a watch? Yeah, I'd say so.
I would say Will Smith's singing is a little rough in that. Sorry, Will, we love you. Like your genie kind of made up for it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I loved Will's genie. I think he definitely, I loved his humor. He was very fun. Some people said that they felt it was like really old school humor, like that wasn't so funny anymore, but I thought it was.
Yeah, I guess maybe we are older, so that might be why. But
maybe.
I enjoyed it. I think I heard some kids laughing in the theater.
Yeah, and I think, you know what, Princess Jasmine, she was the pink Power Ranger in a previous, obviously, the Power Rangers movie. I thought she was phenomenal.
I agree. She stole the show. She really did. Her voice, her acting, just the character she played. I think they did it right this time to make an adaptation, not just sticking to the old storyline, but giving it a new life and a new ending. And I thought they did a great job with her storyline.
Okay, would you go to the theater? Would you wait for Redbox, or would you just like not see it at all?
All right, just because of the songs and how it's grandiose, I would tell you if you have kids, you should see it in theaters because they'll enjoy the experience. It'll be really fun. If you're just wishy-washy and have some kind of nostalgia about Aladdin, I would say maybe wait to see it at home.
If you want to take your grandkids, take your kids, go to the cinema. If you want to watch it for yourself, wait to watch it at home. But it is a show you have to see.
It's worth it.
Go to see Aladdin, Prince Ali.
Fabulous, blah, blah.
He's fabulous, so fabulous.
Welcome back to DBL. Do we have any Star Wars fans in the building? Well, one little boy took his love of the saga to the main stage. Instead of singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, he switched to the iconic Imperial March. Listen. That's my ringtone, and it gives me chills every time someone calls me.
Hilarious.
It's a good one.
That kid's going places. That kid's going places.
He is.
Good tone, good pitch, good stage presence.
I
That's all you need.
know. And he really just didn't care to interrupt either. That's
absolutely not.
confident.
Yeah, it is confident.
I envy that.
Should have dropped Mike at the end.
That would have been a Brandon London thing to
Absolutely. Absolutely.
do. Well, we will see you same time, same place tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.